Good afternoon. Welcome back to Passionate World Talk Radio Network, a wholly owned subsidiary of Global Media Network LLC. Educate, enlighten, entertain, mindfulness. And today, on Lest We Forget Historical with Lillian Caldwell, compared to the current sitting president, we've had worse U.S. presidents with constitutional violations. It was put out on January 12th, 2025 by Eleanor Stratton, and you can find it at usconstitution.net. She goes on to say that throughout our history, our presidency has had debates on constitution and also our tensions with our U.S. constitutions. And she decided to write the article by saying, by examining these presidencies may offer insight in how leadership choices can shape the nation's trajectory, meaning what direction it's going in, particularly when they intersect with the enduring principles enshrined in the U.S. Constitution. So the first president she begins with is James Buchanan's inaction. And he was president before Abraham Lincoln, and he was often criticized for his hesitance during the period before the Civil War. And as tensions expanded over slavery, he was the one who did not do anything about trying to prevent the nation from being dressed in blue or gray, because he didn't do anything about extending or expanding slavery into non-U.S. states as they were at. And also because he did not pay attention to states' rights. And because of that, it led to the Civil War. He had what we called a passive stance. So it was a failure to uphold the Constitution principles, proving detrimental to our nation's unity. The next person was the president after Abraham Lincoln was assassinated, Andrew Johnson, with his Reconstruction reforms that were rejected. He took over the presidency, as I stated, once Lincoln was assassinated, and he resisted essential Reconstruction reforms designed to reshape the nation post-Civil War. And his commitment to states' rights often clashed with the radical Republicans' intent on protecting the freedoms of the emancipated African Americans. He opposed the 14th Amendment, which aimed to grant citizenship and equal protection under the law to all persons born or naturalized in the United States. He used his presidential powers to veto Reconstruction legislation, which he viewed as overstepping federal boundaries. His actions were skeptical, and he appeared to contradict the Constitution promise of liberty and justice for all citizens. And of course, his resistance hampered the progress intended by post-war amendments and set Black efforts to fully integrate and protect former slaves as equal citizens. So his presidency exemplifies the challenges in balancing state sovereignty with national responsibility to protect civil rights. The next president she highlights is Franklin Pierce and the Kansas-Nebraska Act. Franklin Pierce supported the Kansas-Nebraska Act, affecting the pre-Civil War landscape. This action nullified the Missouri Compromise by granting territories the power to determine the legality of slavery within their borders through popular sovereignty. His endorsement exasperated sectional tensions and provoked controversy. The Kansas-Nebraska Act challenged principles established by the Missouri Compromise, which sought to maintain a balance between free and slave states. Pierce's stance, prioritizing state rights and self-determination, raised questions about the federal government's role in limiting the spread of slavery in new territories. This move also undermined the Constitution's attempt to find a middle ground, highlighting regional animosities and paving the way for conflicts like Bleeding Kansas. Another one, number 4 on the list, is Millard Fillmore's Compromise of 1850. He played a pivotal role in enacting the Compromise of 1850, which aimed to quell growing divisions between the North and the South over slavery. The Fugitive Slave Act, an element of this compromise, mandated that escaped slaves be returned to their owners even if they had reached free states. It also challenged notions of liberty and justice held in northern states, raising constitutional questions regarding individual rights and states' autonomy. And his critics argued that it infringed upon personal liberties by compelling citizens to act against their moral beliefs, testing the limits of federal power. Next in line is John Taylor's disregard for party policy. He highlighted a constitutional tension between the executive branch's duty to govern and its obligation to uphold party ideology. Despite his affiliation with the Whig Party, Taylor diverged significantly from its platform, vetoing numerous bills backed by the Whig-dominated Congress. He justified his actions by emphasizing his constitutional interpretations, which occasionally clashed with his Whig policies. Warren G. Harding and administrative scandals. Comment, well, we're already having administrative scandals with the present president, so you can tell yourself, well, at least he isn't the first. Warren G. Harding's presidency is often overshadowed by administrative scandals, most notably the Teapot Dome scandal. The misuse of government authority for personal gain highlighted vulnerabilities within the executive branch, underscoring the necessary for a robust oversight mechanism to prevent the abuse of power, something that we're already seeing in our present administration. Comment. From a constitutional perspective, Harding's administration demonstrates the importance of maintaining vigilance against corruption within government ranks. The scandal also underscores the critical function of congressional oversight and independent judicial inquiry and upholding the principles of transparency and accountability laid out by the Constitution. See that? That makes you feel better. Or Herbert Hoover's Great Depression in Action. Herbert Hoover's handling of the Great Depression is critiqued for an adherence to conservative principles of limited government intervention. His reluctance to provide direct relief to our suffering citizens arose from a belief that government aid would undermine individual initiative and self-reliance. Instead, he advocated for voluntary partnerships between government and business, relying on the private sector to lead recovery efforts. Nope. From a constitutional perspective, his policy sparked debate about the federal government's responsibility to act in time of national crisis. His critics argue that his inaction contradicted the spirit of the Constitution by failing to adequately address the public's urgent needs, thus exacerbating economic disparity and social unrest. It also illustrates the importance of adaptable leadership in interpreting constitutional responsibilities in light of contemporary challenges. His legacy underscores the need for proactive measures to uphold the welfare provisions enshrined in the Constitution, serving as a critical lesson in the necessity of dynamic governance. So that gives you an idea of all the previous presidents who also had constitutional violations. So our current sitting president isn't the only one. He has plenty of company. Our program, Lest We Forget Historical, is sponsored by Ruby.ai. Check us out at AI with Lillian.com. It'll take you to a webpage, Ruby.ai. Check out the demo of the complete app. Take a look at all the testimonials, and then please sign up for a monthly subscription. Go over again to AI with Lillian.com and buy Conscious Research Solutions. Take a look, passionateworldtalkradio.com/research made simple blog, and see all the pain points that you encounter when you try to do research, or you don't know how to do research and you need a little bit of help. Please sign up for a 15-minute consultation. And if you want to go to an internet talk radio station that has the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, go over to Passionate World Talk Radio Net, talkradio.com/donation. And we will appreciate helping us remain on the air. Thank you all for listening, and have a fantastic weekend.